when the story first went to air, he was really, really relieved that the story was out, and to see the people all over Australia doing the rallies and everything, it gave him his hope back. But right now, like the last few conversations I've had with him, to be honest, he's really scared because he's got to go to the Royal Commission. When he goes to the Royal Commission to give evidence, he has to go back to the jail. And yeah, he's pretty scared because it's pretty easy while he's still vulnerable in the correctional system. It's pretty easy for him to get set up and a fight to happen. Like, you know, no one's going to say, oh, it's because of the commission. He's already had a black eye since the story went to air, which he says he walked into a door because he can't go into it any further. So I guess, really, I'm glad that everything's happening, but at the same time, I'm really fearful that I'm going to lose my son, to be honest. And is he going to be the next person that passes away in custody? That's where my head's at, you know. I'm really scared for my son.
I want to maybe ask, has Dylan been given any cultural support that you're aware of in his time, both with so we call it FACS here, but with the family services, the community services, or in any of the correctional institutions that he's been in?
The Larrakia Nation people went into Dondale not long after, I think, the tear gassing thing, and they did a traditional smoking ceremony with the boys. And the punishment for their way is the boys had to bite down on a piece of coal, and all the boys did that punishment, and Dylan rang me the day that he did that, you know, and he said, you know, I really felt a connection, and that was the day, really, he rang me up and he was like, you know, I shouldn't have done this, my family needs me, and this and that, you know, like from just that one little meeting that they had with the elders in there, that was what connected with him and made him, you know, want to connect with his family and want to change. It's not the beatings and the tear gassing and stuff like that that's changed my son. You know, it's the little people that have reached out in love and with hope, not in anger. I was forced into signing my child over to Family and Community Services in Alice Springs, and me and my daughter had 2 young children, and it was either the 2 babies would be removed from the house or I signed the paperwork for my son to be removed from the house. So I signed the paper. I'd been fighting for about 1.5 years not to sign him over into fax care, but to me that was pretty much the start of his bigger trouble, because his trouble had only ever been at school. He wasn't known on the street as an offender on the street or even causing any problems on the street. But when he was kicked out of school and then he was in fax care, then Family and Children's Services wouldn't provide him with anything. You know, like as a family, we would always sort of, you know, like brothers, sisters, look out for him and make sure he was coming home. He wasn't out on the street when he was in fax care and the workers were just looking after him. He could play a game with us and not want to be at home and ring up fax and say, oh, look, things aren't working out at home. But really, we would just be saying, hey, look, you know, you're not going out on the street tonight, or you're not going out and hanging out. With us, he would accept that, but he knew that if he went off with the workers had no rights to stop him from doing what he wanted to do. So he, at a young age, started to play a game where he knew that if he couldn't do what we let him do, he could ring up the workers would come and rescue him from our home, and he could go to them, and as soon as he got there, he'd go to a caravan park in Alice Springs and stay the night. But as soon as he got taken to the caravan park, the workers couldn't stop him. He was allowed to just walk away. So that was his starting of going out and hanging on the street. It was when he was in Family and Children's Services care. They were not properly supervising him or knowing where he was or what he was doing. And they tried to cut us and the rest of the family out of his life and blame us for what he was doing. Yet as parents, brothers, sisters, we were only trying to help him, you know, like I made some mistakes as a parent. I don't deny that, you know, but I can't do anything about that. All I can do is look at now and try and fix things now. And yeah, it's just really hard.
If it's all right, maybe I'll just read some statements that you gave from the press release earlier today. So earlier today you said we're here to demand justice, not just for Dylan but for all young people who were abused. The guards who did this, the department officials, they should not be above the law, they should be in prison. My son should be free today. He has suffered so much. I'm very worried that he will not be able to speak freely to the Royal Commission while he's being held in prison and vulnerable to more abuse. Both the child protection and juvenile justice systems are broken. When Dylan was young and I was asking for help, DCF put me in a corner and made me sign him over to them. Then they tried to cut me out of playing any role in his life. They stopped many efforts I was making to create opportunities for Dylan and tried to cover up what he was going through. He was under the care of the minister, but where was the minister when Dylan was being tortured?